Okay, Delius, listen up. We do have some time before everyone finishes arriving, so I'll try to explain as best I can. Hopefully you'll understand. The system that we live by and ordain our actions by is all based off of the idea of a core. Jax Prime is that core. You see, all of us are built to self-destruct. We are made to be temporary in all facets. If we do not connect back to the primary system and reset ourselves, then we basically self-destruct. Our bodies are destroyed, and any technology that might be stored within us is destroyed along with it. So none of us are ever truly a single individual. We're merely tools used to fulfill the agenda that we all agree on, because we all are in fact the same person. Every time that we perform the back check, connect to the primary systems in order to reset the self-destruct clock that is built into our very beings, yes, our destruction clock is reset, and we are given back the allotment of time. But also during that process, there is a large exchange of information. All of our memories and experiences are uploaded back to the primary core. Basically, everything that every single one of us experiences is recorded into our memory banks like any other living being. When we connect back to the core, all of that information from each and every one of us is exchanged back to the core, saved in the database, and then any non-necessary information for us as an individual is destroyed. Things are categorized based on importance, and what we need we keep, and what we don't is wiped away. And our full neurological makeup and structure is basically erased. And the current neurological structure of Jax Prime, our core, is the basis for our replacement when we take under this process. It occurs once every few months, usually about 6. Our countdown timers run 1 year, so we try to make sure that every 6 months or so we change over, just in case we run into problems that have us running about for a while. We wouldn't want to blow up in the middle of trying to perform some sort of important job. When this happens, we are rewritten with the memories from Jax Prime, and thus we become an exact duplicate of whoever Jax Prime is at the time that that duplication was made. For example, I myself was not present for my daughter's last birthday. However, I can describe it to you vividly, because functionally I remember being there. I remember sitting at the table watching her blow out her candles. I remember the party afterwards, the cake, frivolity, and drinks. I remember the wild-ass night with my wife. All of it is clear and crystal as the interaction that we're having right now. It's all real to us. We are all Jax, he said, looking to Delius, as Delius stared around the room still. Why? I mean, why would you do that to yourself? Give yourself a 1 year time span of a life? You'll blow up if you don't rewrite yourself? I mean, how cruel can you be? To yourself? Don't you want to live? Don't you want to be yourself? Okay, Delius, Jax replied. There's a statement from my homeworld, said by a very wise man at one point in time, and it goes as such. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. The force that I have built here is a testament to power unlike most could ever fathom. I am capable of achieving things that no other human being, hell, that no other race could accomplish in their foggiest daydreams. But all of that power has great responsibility, great danger. You see, it's a double-edged sword. I need the power in order to fight against the forces that seek to destroy this universe and all those that reside in it. However, if I allow myself to cling to that power, then it is without question that eventually that power will corrupt me. Maybe not now, maybe not 10 years from now, but eventually. And this is only discussing the power itself. That's not even covering the frailty of the human mind. You see, the longer that we continue to exist as singular individuals, the more interactions that we have, the more we perceive and grow as individuals, the more we start to drift. We begin to change, no longer simply being Jax. We become some vastly different variation of him. Being allowed to maintain our memories may seem like the right thing to do, an act of humanity or something of that nature. But I assure you that's an extremely dangerous concept. Believe me, we've had to find this out through exceptionally hard lessons with the highest of costs, the cost of innocent lives and destruction on scales that you can't even fathom. The system that has been put in place is a complex system of checks and balances to ensure that our goals, our agendas, our motives cannot be compromised, cannot be broken, cannot corrupt us. Let me give you an example. Tell me, Jax. Tell me, Delius. Is there anyone that you love? Someone who you hold dear to your heart, who you yearn to see, to stand alongside in this life? I heard you're married. I imagine that your wife would be at least one person accounted on a list like that. Yes, of course, Delius replied. Tell me, Delius, what do you think your response would be if you were told that you could never see her, never talk to her, never hold her in your arms, never fall asleep hearing her heartbeat and feeling her breath against you? How would you feel about that, Delius? I would feel appalled. I would never let something like that happen, Delius replied, looking at Jax angrily. Exactly, Delius. This too is one of the problems with individuality and all of us being based off of the same person. The longer we exist as individuals, duplicates of the original Jax, the more our hearts begin to yearn for all of the things that Jax yearns for. He wants to see his wife, to see his daughter, his family, to have the life he wishes to have, with the people he wishes to live it with. I'm no exception to this. After all, I'm Jax. But therein lies the problem. What happens when there's 1,000 different Jaxes, and each and every one of them loves the same woman? Tell me, what do you think happens? Well, I'll tell you, Delius. Calamity happens. Once again, our humanity is a double-edged sword. In order to prevent us from being corrupted, we need humanity in order to feel, understand, empathize with those around us, connect with them emotionally, understand their plight and suffering, so that we do not become monsters, void of conscience or feeling. We need our human emotions. We need our memories. We need to be ourselves. And yet, at the same time, if allowed to be ourselves on a long enough timeline, without being rewritten, those memories become poison. Our unfulfilled desires begin to eat away at us. For truly, in order to maintain humanity, you must also maintain the ability to suffer, to feel loneliness and despair, to miss someone in your bones, to want more than anything to see them and then to not be able to. It's suffice it to say it's torture, and it all ends with bad results. This is why we are rewritten on a regular basis. It is all just another safeguard against our corruption. The corruption of the suffering that we endure in combat. The corruption of feeling astray from those that we love. The corruption of having your heart broken by that which you cannot have, or that which you cannot stop or achieve. This war has not been without great conflict or consequence. The suffering that the duplicates, the partitions, have had to undertake is immense. The stress immense, and as such the psychological effects immense. If we allow them all to simply stack on top of each other, eventually us partitions, the duplicates, begin to grow unstable. We divert from the original format and psychology of Jax and become something else. Perhaps we will grow and become better. It's always possible, but it is equally as possible that we will become something far worse than what we are meant to be, that we will corrupt our purpose and our meaning, distort our agendas and our goals, and with the level of power that we possess, that would be an exceptionally bad thing. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and thus no single Jax, no matter their form, no matter their state. Even Jax Prime himself is not all-powerful within this armada that we have constructed. He is merely Jax Prime current. You see, like everything else, he is a safeguard against our corruption, but we are also a safeguard against his. Should something happen to Jax Prime, should something corrupt his logic and reason, his ideology and beliefs, should he begin to sway and divert into something that opposes the foundation and nature of what we are meant to achieve, then he can be stripped and replaced. Another member of our group, a partition such as myself, will become Jax Prime in his stead. He protects against our corruption, and we protect against his. And so, as long as at least one Jax exists in the universe, we are essentially immortal. We cannot die. There are simply too many of us. Even if you destroy one of me, there are still an army more. This is the system we have created in order to maintain the security of our goals, of what we hope to achieve, and to keep us from harming ourselves or innocent people. We are meant to protect the people of this universe, not harm them, and we must continue to serve that function at all costs.